That's all I gotta say about it. But let me know what you guys think.
Are we ready? Hang on. Hello, hello, everybody. Gosh, so many tabs open. Man, there is so much drama in the true crime community right now. So, a whole bunch of people want us to comment on it. Like a whole bunch of people want us to comment on it. So I'm going to give the people what they want. Ready? I'm going to do 15 seconds of comment starting now. All right, you guys, that's what I have to say about it. That's it. That's all I got to say about drama. No, but really, I wish everybody the best. Everyone. All of them. I hope they all are having a great day. I hope they're having a great week. I hope that they aren't stressing over whatever's going on. You know, stress kills people, and it's very real. Very real. So I just want to tell everybody, I know a lot of content creators watch our show. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you're having a great week. And I hope you understand that none of this stuff's important. So, all right, you guys, let's get into the show. Welcome to the True Crime Talk Show, brought to you by ThoughtRiot Podcast. My name is Brendan, and welcome to the show. All right. Gotta love that intro. So you can find us on every single social media platform out there. We're on everything, you guys. Absolutely everything. If it's a social media platform, then we are on it. We are on every podcast platform out there. Some of them I didn't even know we were on, but we're on them all. So we have a huge international following. So shout out to everybody internationally. We have a huge US. Well, our US following's getting bigger as we're dealing with some issues and stuff on YouTube. But shout out to all of you two and everyone in between. We have Spanish speaking. We have French. We have people from Finland, all over the place. And we appreciate all of you, every single one of you. You are all important. Every single one of you is important. And, you know, I don't have a commitment to one person from one place more than another. In my opinion, if you're a human being, listen, I care about you and I want the best for you. So we appreciate you all for being here. You can find us on any of our social media platforms, any of the podcast platforms with / Thought Riot Podcast, spelt all the way out, no spaces, except for Twitter. On Twitter, we're / Thought Riot Pod. So, what did we just watch? For those of you that watch our lives but don't watch our pre-records, which I highly suggest you do, because if you're not watching both, then you're only getting half the story. This is the commentary. This is the talk show. This is where we dig into all the evidence that we found on the podcast. But what we just watched is we dug into one of the questions that has been brought up in the last couple weeks. Malia will be here any minute here.
I am here.
Oh, she is here. Didn't realize it. But we dug into the animal, the I don't even know what you would call it, because it's, wait, what did you hit? Just be careful.
What did I hit? I hit something?
Yeah, just, it's fine.
It was kind of awkward getting up here just
you
now.
turn that off.
Turn this off?
Well, unless you're going to use it.
Well, yeah, I might.
But the animal cruelty in the area, okay, and I'll just call it animal cruelty. I mean, all the animals that are involved in all these situations, unfortunately, didn't live through this. And they were, we have Buddy as the main source and story because we just have that much information from it. But look, it is a huge, massive symptom of a serialist, somebody that evolves into ending people. Okay. And it was happening right before the Idaho 4 massacre. Right before the Idaho 4 massacre. You know, I have some questions that I've been chewing on since this video, and they say that Bryan Kohberger okay, I guess I got to mansplain a little bit before I go into it. So, what's the likelihood of a city having 2 serial enders? I would say very unlikely. Statistically improbable, based on the fraction of a percent of serial enders within humanity, the human race. It's very unlikely. All right. So, assuming Bryan Kohberger is the guy in this scenario, they say that he was within that area 12 times. Okay. Is that enough time to be a stalker and end these animals? Because listen, you guys, they're related. Unless somebody can come out and show me actual factual evidence that they're not related, it's the wrong decision to assume they're not related. They are. You have somebody, an expert, Dr. Phil, who only deals with people, only deals with psychopaths, only deals as a therapist with people that have hangups and character behavioral problems and issues, who's coming out and saying the same thing, like these are connected. It's improbable that they're not.
Yeah, he said he has a really hard time basically letting that go as not connected. And that's really my question is, how did the cops rule it out as not connected? Because according to the owners of Buddy, they didn't forensically test anything, which I know it may seem like, "Ugh, it's a dog, like why would they forensically test anything?" But the thing is the way Buddy was killed, and also, Buddy's owners also found a bunny with the top of its head cut off, like the way you would cut, like it said, all the way around, like basically taking the cap off, like scalping a bunny. Um, and keeping the ears. Crazy. Like, they found that, I think he said a month before Buddy was skinned. And so they took the bunny ears, and then they did that to Buddy and took the pelt, took Buddy's skin.
Yeah.
And kept it, his fur.
Yep.
So,
Yep. And they said very clearly in there, not only themselves based on their experience, but also the officers that came out, that it's impossible that it was caused by a wild animal. There's this theory, there's this idea out there in the true crime community. No, these aren't connected. That's wild animals. That was coyotes. No, it is not. They were perfect cuts around each of his legs and his head. Like, it was not an animal. There were no bite marks. There were no...
It was the same way you would skin an animal to keep the pelt. Like, somebody who's well experienced and knows what they're doing. That's what was done. There's no mangling of the body. There was no bite marks from animals. There was nothing. It makes me wonder, like, did they at least end Buddy before they did that to him? That way he didn't suffer?
I don't know. I don't even want to think about that.
But I know most people don't want to think about that. The only reason I do think about it is because I wonder, like,
dude, it's the person's already a sociopath and like a serialist. They're gonna do the thing that causes the most harm and visible harm. So, like, yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Right. So I don't want to think about it because they're already doing that.
Yeah, that's what I think happened. Honestly, I think it was the most pain possible, and that's really hard to think about. But anyway, it just
doesn't add anything to the story, understanding what a sociopath does.
But it shows what type of person this is. Like, and to think that there's two of these type of people roaming around Moscow, Idaho, seems highly improbable.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
Highly improbable.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's even fair to pretend that it is possible, because it's just not. It is not.
Well,
and when you're looking into an investigation, you handle things like a doctor does. When you go to the doctor and you have some weird symptoms, the doctor isn't like, all right, so let's start with the most rare sickness first, and then we'll work backward to the most common sickness. No, you stick to the most probable situation and work down. The most probable situation is that these two are connected, is that there's a psychopath in that area, and that they were evolving in front of the locals' eyes to eventually get to the point where they're now involved in the Idaho 4 massacre. That, in my opinion, is the most probable and likely.
Agreed. And, you know, like, Buddy's owners were living in fear after this too. Like, I don't know. They probably still are, to be honest. They said they slept with their doors open at night, in the summertime, to cool down their home. And then after that, she said, as soon as my husband's out the door, I'm locking the door now because I'm worried. Like, whoever did this, yeah, it's scary. And I am afraid that they're going to come hurt me. Which I don't blame her at all. I would think the same exact thing. Every serial killer, you could look up just about any serial killer and see that they hurt animals in the past. And it's a well-known thing. Now, one thing that kind of gets closer to the actual murders, okay, because we have Buddy that happened 3 miles away from the crime scene, north of Moscow, and a week before, I think it was a month. It was either a month or a week before Buddy, there was the bunny that Buddy's owners found, and then Buddy, and then the crime a month later, the Idaho 4 crime. Well, apparently, the night of the crime, which you want to share this since you pulled it up?
Wait till you're finished.
The night of the crime, a man that was dropping his son off at the Sigma Chi fraternity house saw a small animal brain on a dumpster by the frat house when he dropped his son off, literally on the day of the murders, Sunday the 13th.
Yeah. And
he thought it was weird, so he called and reported it. I don't know why he waited 2 days, but he waited 2 days, and we'll show you guys.
Yeah, and I just want to make a statement real quick. It's been quite a while since we've had to make this statement, you guys, but I see that our comments and in our chat, people are getting a little bit more loose-tongued than we've allowed in the past. So no name calling. You can't talk to somebody that you don't know the same way that you talk to a best friend and you can tease. They don't know you. They can't hear your tone. No names, no anything. When we talk to each other, we got to talk to each other with respect. And that is the only thing that will cause somebody to either be muted or kicked out of here by us, like at our hand. Okay. So please be respectful. It's one thing to jokingly troll, you know, the funny names like people have in here sometimes, and whatnot. That's one thing, but anything that could be taken as aggressive by anybody, I mean, even by somebody that, you know, is a little bit more sensitive to those things, those people, you got to keep that in check. All right. So this show is not here for drama. This show is here for objective think tanking. So we appreciate you. And please hit that like button, you guys. Hit that like button. You guys are the single reason this show has grown at the rate it is. You know, we are literally in the top 5 in 4 different countries. In the top 5 for true crime in 4 different countries. And that's all because of you guys. Our international following is here, huge. You guys are amazing. So hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment under the video. You guys are incredible. We literally just had our biggest month we've ever had, and that's with an attack on our content on some of these platforms, which I shared a little bit, but you know, that was fixed very quick. But I'm still shocked that we had such a big increase month over month, even with that. So but anyways, yeah, so we can show this here, and you did talk about it briefly. Well, I mean, not really. I guess you.
I mean, I don't know how deep we can really go into it because I need to get more information on it if possible.
Yeah.
But I was sent this report by one of our viewers. And if they want to make themselves known, they can. I don't see them here tonight, but it blew my mind. I was like, wow, like, should I bring this up? Like, it's so wild. But when looking at all the animal mutilations that have happened in this area, I'm like, whoa, especially with Buddy.
The only thing
just a week or a month before.
The only thing I'm really confused about, and for those of you that can't see it, I'll read it here. So it says narrative. Okay, then I'll go into some questions I have. It says RP reported that a small brain, most likely animal in parentheses here, was on a dumpster by Sigma Chi when he dropped his son off on Sunday, 11/13/22. RP thought it was odd and wanted it reported. And from my understanding, this report was before they were found, which is interesting. Now,
what? This report was not before they were found.
Are you sure?
This wasn't.
I thought this was at 11 something a.m.
He reported this 2 days later.
Oh,
He
okay.
called the
Then
police
don't
and
listen to
actually
me. I'm mixing up my
he
facts.
filed a report on the 15th of November,
Got it.
but
Okay.
said this actually happened. He
Okay.
saw the brain on the dumpster on the 13th.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know why he waited 2 days, but
Well,
apparently he
probably
did.
because he didn't know of the crime at that
I'm
time.
assuming he didn't know about the crime, and yeah, he
I'm
heard
telling
about
you.
it. He heard about it and was like, "Oh my gosh, I saw something on that dumpster. I should probably just report it just in case."
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a lot of things my brain would go to first because, again, going back to the doctor scenario, when you're a doctor and you go into or when you go into a doctor's office and you have weird symptoms, the doctor does not say, let's start with the least likely and then work up to the most likely. No, what's the most likely scenario and work down to the least likely scenario. So when you see, if you were to see blood, right, or you were to see some kind of whatever bodily material, okay, that makes you think of a brain or something, I'm telling you, I would think, what is that, like a steak? Did somebody break their leg on that? Is that like ground beef? My brain would go to the most likely scenario first.
Ground beef.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable. I don't think you can tell much of it. Have you ever seen like
A real brain? Yes, I have, and it did
I'm
not
not
look like
saying
ground
brain.
beef.
I'm not saying brain. So brain tissue looks very similar to the inside tissue when somebody's been ripped apart. The only reason I know that is because I grew up riding dirt bikes. One of the main things that happened to you is road rash. And after road rash is cleaned, it literally looks like the inside of a body looks pretty similar all over, you know,
Yeah.
just to put it like as less detailed as possible. So yes, I think that a piece of meat that is either messed up, been sitting out, whatever, would, unless you know what you're looking for, could look similar. I think it's a fair assessment. But if I was that police officer, my first thing would be, one, we're going to investigate. Two, I'm taking my kit to find out if it's human or not.
Yeah, I agree. Who knows if it was even still there or not though, because he did not report it until 2 days later,
What, you think someone went out there and cleaned it up off a
possibly, or the
dumpster?
trash was taken. I
I
don't know
mean,
what day is trash day in Moscow.
BLOD leaves behind DNA and
Oh
substances
yeah.
for usually quite a
I
while.
hope they tested it. I genuinely hope they
Agreed.
did. They said they took, evidence from 3 different dumpsters. We do know that they went to the Sigma Chi house and were looking around. I believe it is JLR also, who literally has footage of him driving by the Sigma Chi house with 9 state trooper cars outside of the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
But
and
what's
that
funny is
was
they never went
super.
in.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that?
Based off of some statement. Now, do I know that for sure? No, but two, I know that we don't see the warrant, and it's Greek expectation across the board that you don't willingly let law enforcement in. None of them do. So, I mean, I guess I would be shocked if they were all in there. It doesn't necessarily mean they were in Sigma Chi either. They were looking for, you know, footage and whatnot of that area.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure. But I know this is really interesting.
I mean, I just what is the chance? What is the likelihood of, Buddy happening a month earlier, then the night of the crime, there being like either a small animal brain or some kind of chunk of meat like body tissue of who knows what on the Sigma Chi dumpster.
Yeah, I know.
And this
I
is
don't think
so
it's
if this is true that it is an animal brain, that's 3 animal mutilations in like a 2 months time span.
right before the crime.
Right
Yeah.
before the
So
crime.
within 2.5 months or 3 months or whatever it was, you have 3 mutilations and the Idaho 4 massacre. And we see evolution too, you
And
guys.
who knows how many
So
more? Who
it
knows how many more there were that people just didn't find or,
Yep,
you
and
know,
at least in that area, it went
report?
from a bunny, a domesticated bunny, or they believe it was a domesticated bunny based off coloring and things like that. And then the dog, that alone, in my opinion, is progression because of the connection that human beings have with dogs. We grow up socially understanding man's best friend. Okay. So that from bunny to dog, that's a progression in itself. Obviously, it's not as big. It's not the same kind of progression as a dog from a human, but it's still a progression, in my opinion. You have ears taken off of a rabbit. Next, you have an entire dog that had a collar on it. So they knew it was owned 100% without a doubt, knew it was owned. Um, Skinning that and leaving the collar behind, everything else, right before the crime.
Right.
It's awful. It is awful.
I mean, you know, the bunny was supposedly a domesticated bunny, and then the dog is domesticated, obviously. So I'm curious. I really wish we knew what this animal, whose brain this animal's was. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whose brain was this? Was it also a domesticated animal?
I mean, was it a brain? We've talked about this, was brought up before. We've lightly brought this up before
Not
without
on
making a
n-
connection like this, without pulling this up, but we have lightly talked about it before. My big question is maybe it wasn't brain, okay? I'm telling you, when bodily fluids start to dry, when bodily fluids have been out for a while, when injuries have been out for a while, and I've had very severe injuries, you guys. It would blow you away if I told you what kind of injuries I've had. Very familiar with bone, meat, everything in between. And it sounds awful, but it's just true. It's part of dirt bikes. Um, could that be just blood that is what's it called,
coagulated.
coagulated?
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
I mean, I think it's possible. I think it's possible. You know how many times I've had BLOD and coagulated BLOD on dirt bikes that after an accident you got to go clean off, and you're like, oh, ugh, that's nasty, you know? Um,
Depends.
having skin melted onto a pipe because when you fell, a part of your body was on the pipe. Like, I've seen all kinds of stuff. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, it looks kind of similar, but because you got to understand, like, for it to be brain matter, that it's not, that's not something that you just can get.
What do you mean it's not something you can just get?
I mean, you would know about it. So if we're making the connection and wondering, hey, could this be human? Could this be from Idaho 4? We haven't heard anything about, like, a head being opened. Not saying that we wouldn't or there wasn't, but I don't know. I just have a hard time thinking that somebody, right? Look, if this report said that this person was a doctor, I would feel very different right now, okay? But when I'm thinking average person, right? Average person, um to have them walk up to something that we have no idea how long it's been there and then be like, oh, that's animal brain. I don't know. A little bit strange. But that doesn't take away from how interesting and how weird and how much more evidence we should be getting from this. It does not take away from that. So,
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this is, I mean, I don't know. The only thing that doesn't make me doubt it as quickly as Brendan, I guess, is that the reporter reported a small brain, most likely animal, was on a dumpster by Sigma Chi. Like, that doesn't sound like whoever's reporting this has any doubt. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't really sound like, he saw something bloody, he thought could be an animal brain, but we're not quite sure, or he wasn't quite sure. It's like, no, he saw a small brain and he thought it was most likely an animal's, and it was on the dumpster. This is also an area where, yeah, hunting's common. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them have seen animal brains. I definitely want, um I definitely want to learn more about this, see if I can pull any more from FOIA requests. I was looking up small animal brains online, and actually animal brains vary quite a bit. They vary much more in the way they look than I thought. So, like, right now I have a rat brain and it looks much more smooth than I imagined. I had no idea that rat brains weren't as, I don't know, like, wrinkly as human brains. Um, Also a guinea pig and a rabbit, like, looks really strange. A rabbit's looks like an arrowhead or something, and it looks pretty smooth too. So I actually could see how somebody could maybe mistake, maybe, like, say it was a rat brain, like, I don't know, but my mind wouldn't go to brain. My mind would go to, like, a kidney or, like, a chicken liver. I'm not gonna pull up animal brains on the screen, though. You guys can do a Google search and look. I don't know, like, if I saw that laying on the dumpster, like, all these little animal brains that I'm looking at right now, if I'm gonna mistake it for something, I don't know, it wouldn't be a brain. I don't, do you know what I'm trying to say? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, why would your mind go to brain? Why would like, I don't know. I think that what Brennan's saying is true. Like, when you come across something like that, your brain's gonna go to, like, the most common thing that you think it could be, especially if you're unsure of what it could be. Um, like hamburger meat, like, oh, that kind of looks like a chicken liver, or, something like that. So going straight to a brain is kind of weird. That's why I think, like, this person probably did think it was a brain because they had seen an animal brain before. That's at least what I think. Alright, I need to close this picture because I don't like looking at it. But it makes you wonder why was that on Sigma Chi's dumpster this night of all nights?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't that's what I'm telling you. Like, it's the brain is weird, okay? That's weird. But all it needs to say is BLOD. A substantial amount of BLOD was seen on this dumpster, and it's equally strange, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, BLOOD is not even mentioned in this report,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is weird.
Exactly. Someone was saying like insides can look like brain. I agree. I've seen it all. I've helped someone hold in their insides
Sure.
before.
Intestines could, but would they look like a small animal brain?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not spelling it right on purpose, you guys, but it's right enough for people to understand BLOD. They got you, red liquid. So my big question is, okay, and I keep going back to this because I think it's important. We have a lot of people that watch us that believe Bryan Kohberger is guilty, and that's great. That's great. That's exactly what we want here. We do not want an echo chamber. We do not want only people to watch us that believe Bryan Kohberger is innocent. We do not want only people to watch us that believe they don't know what Bryan Kohberger is. We do not want people that only think he's guilty to watch this. Is it dude, these are connected unless there is irrefutable evidence that says otherwise. So is it possible that Bryan Kohberger could be tied to these? Were these test runs? We know he was up late. Could it possibly be him? Could he have got a new knife and thought, hey, I want to test this out? Are any of these things possible?
I don't know, but it's really funny when people say share the facts. You know, eh, nobody has any facts here. Nobody does. We have a police report that we just showed, but the police reports are also not facts. They are not direct evidence. But it's interesting
Yeah,
because this was reported.
yeah. If you guys have never watched any of our stuff, you should watch the objective versus subjective videos that we shared that talk about how interesting it is that theory gets wrapped up in like the true crime community and it is redefined, whereas theory, when it comes to science, is what everybody strives for. Everybody. It is a privilege to have an idea that is called a theory. So it drives me wild when that it gets wrapped up in the true crime space like that.
Well,
Maybe I'm just science minded because of my background and
well,
career
really, what
and
everyone's coming
analytics
up
and
with
everything,
is
but
hypothesis, and even shorter than that. I mean, a lot of it's just speculation, not even a hypothesis. But um, yeah, a theory is something that has a lot of evidence backing it.
like it's incredible. Theories are rare, man. Like really rare.
Yeah,
And my only assumption
there's
is
just
that
a social definition of what theory is, though. And
I
that's what
mean,
everyone uses.
I I get it. I get it. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to side with science because just, you know, what wins? Subjectivity or objectivity when you're trying to be scientific minded, you know?
Yeah.
Subjectivity is important, but objectivity is irrefutable normally. Is it possible? Do you think it's possible for this to be some dumb college kid that is missing half of his frontal lobe?
Do I think
The animal.
was done by a college kid?
Do you think it's possible? Could it be?
Yeah. I do.
I have a hard time with that one. I don't know if I feel like it could be or not.
You don't think who did this to Buddy could have been a college kid?
I'm saying a dumb college kid, not a sociopath that's associated with the crime. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. The fact
Wait.
that Buddy had a collar. Look, if these were all coyotes, I would feel different about it. I would. But the fact that Buddy had a collar on it was very clearly owned. And with the way that, you know, Americans are raised with dogs, what's a man's best friend? Dog, you know what I mean? I think in order to do what happened to Buddy, you literally have to be a sociopath.
Yeah?
Right. I was asking you if you think a college kid, random college kid not associated with the Idaho 4 crime could have done this.
Oh, just okay. I mean, it has to be a sociopath. Like, even if it is a random college kid too. That's why I was confused. I didn't feel like the question was clear enough. But um no, my immediate thought is that whoever, because it's just so unlikely that you have multiple sociopaths that would like commit this type of violence to this like at this extent. Like this is a big deal. Like even other serial killers, just from the ones I've read about, okay? Just the ones I've read about. They didn't start out with like strangers' pets. They start off with like pets that weren't wanted or their own pets or wild
Right.
animals.
Yeah.
Like this person went out and sought an owned pet.
Yeah.
Multiple, if you believe the bunny was domesticated.
Yeah. 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 Yep.
Like, I don't know. It has to. I don't know. This type of person, it does seem rare for such a small town for there to be multiple of these type of people in that town. Could it be a college person? Yes. Who's a sociopath? Yes. Or they could not be in college too. I mean, I don't think that's the part that really matters.
Yeah. It's
It
so
just would
strange. I just
explain a
don't.
connection to the Idaho 4 more if they were in college.
Yeah, it would. All
That's
right.
why the brain at Sigma Chi is so weird. So, we also talked about the 2017 coyote thing, okay? The coyote thing was not, like, around this time period when the Idaho 4 were actually even going to the U of I. I know, that's a picture I wanted to show you, which we're gonna show you guys here in a second. Um That happened in 2017. The original guy who did it fessed up to it. And then there were some copycats after that, but they could never figure out who did it when the other people came in and did it. And they spread the red fluid, okay, from the coyotes all over the sorority and fraternities door, like, you know, porch and their windows, um and just like chucked the body up there. You know, the coyotes were shot, and I take
Yeah,
that
they
as
were
a
shot and they abused the
they did.
corpse,
They were mangled.
and painted the front of these sororities and fraternities, sidewalks and houses with the BLOD.
Yeah, this couldn't have been Jack, you guys. I this was in 2017. Jack didn't go to school there. And he's from Boise. The coyote thing couldn't have been him.
Yeah, but the coyote thing is not the same as what we're seeing here. I want to be very clear. And I've thought about that for multiple days. Ever since we made this video, we shoot on Fridays. So we shot this on Friday. So 4 days ago or 3 days ago, I've had time to chew on this. There is it is legal to grab a gun in Idaho and go out coyote hunting, okay? There are lots of hunters in that area. So I think with them being shot, they, you know, hunted them and then used them as a prank. What happened with Buddy being skinned alive, what happened with the rabbit having its ears taken off like it would be antlers,
Like
is a
scalped.
very
Yeah.
different situation.
Very different.
It's interesting that this is going on. I think the second scenario with the coyote is interesting because it happened twice. It happened somewhat recent, not just the 2017 was how many? 7 coyotes? It was multiple
7
locations.
coyotes.
Okay.
7 coyotes. And yeah, that was 2017. It wasn't like 2022. That's 5 years. 5 years before this crime. Meaning none of these students that we're talking about in this crime and involved in this crime were going to school at the U of I at this time. And most of them were not even living in Moscow.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of them are either from Boise or up north, like Coeur d'Alene and, you know, Washington, from various places. So I think that is a separate situation, though it does concern me that
Jack
the police.
wasn't a local, you guys.
No,
He is not from that area.
he is not a
No.
local. He's not from Moscow, Idaho. He's
No.
from Boise. Jack Showalter specifically. So anyway, I think that's a separate situation. What does concern me is the cops not caring enough about it to get down to the bottom of it and prevent it.
Right.
Because when you
Yeah.
have students and people in your town mutilating animals and, you know, spreading the red fluid all over sorority and fraternity windows and porches, like it may have been just a prank, but that can't just be happening. And it happened 7 times.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, like over and over, and they only caught the person that did it the first time.
Yeah, but the 2017
I take that as a threat. I would not be okay with that being on my front porch and my windows.
Yeah, what's interesting though, the 2017 doesn't concern me as much because they were hunted. Do I think it's okay? What happened? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think it was okay. Do I think it's okay to mutilate a body? Absolutely not. I have very good friends that are hunters, and I support hunters, and I think it should be allowed as long as we're doing it responsibly and safely. And there's a lot of situations in areas in the US where certain animals have taken over certain areas. So I also understand why there could be a free for all open all season, all year long to hunt certain animals. I understand all that. Where my issue is it's one thing to reduce animal numbers in an area for the
Yes.
sake of helping the area. It's a completely other thing to go hunting these animals and then abusing the corpse, creating a biohazard in within the fraternities
Yeah.
area and sororities. I don't think that's okay. However, I don't think there is so much importance as there is with the Buddy situation, as there is with the newer coyote situation. The newer coyote situation, it does not say they were shot, and that's interesting to me. I'm curious how they were handled.
What do you mean newer?
There's 2 different scenarios with coyotes. There was one that was like 6 or 9 months before the crime. I don't have the receipts, so, you know, people will not be happy I brought it up, but I can bring them up for the next show. I just didn't realize we didn't talk about that with the 2 different scenarios of coyotes.
I mean, there's so many scenarios about coyotes, but that would have been important to bring up.
Yeah, I gotcha. But so let's look at this picture, right? Because we have a weird.
I mean, that's super important to bring up. But yes, this is the other weird thing that we found in connection with animals and the 1122 King Road home.
Okay. So right here, this is the upper. Can you guys see my mouse? Yeah, there you go. Okay. Right here, this is a bag, and we're at the top of 1122 in the back, right? See right here? That is a dog bed.
Everyone wondered what was in that garbage bag, and I think I did hear people talk about the dog bed before, but what's inside the dog bed is weird.
Yep.
That's not Murphy's hair, you guys.
We showed this on the premiere, and look, I cannot tell. I don't understand. I don't get it. I have no idea what this is. This isn't inside stuffing of a dog toy. This isn't shedding, which that kind of dog doesn't shed anyway. This is, I have no idea what this is. What is this? What is this?
Right?
I don't understand. Here, I'll pull up. Hang on. So let's look at. Okay, so
Murphy is such a light colored dog, too. Like, he's very light colored. He's a golden doodle, right? Like, that's his breed, is a doodle. But he's really light colored.
Can't
So
show
it
that
doesn't,
one.
like, it's clearly not Murphy's hair. So then where
Some
did
of
that
the-
animal hair come from?
Yeah. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Okay, take a good look at that fur, that hair, whatever that is, you guys. I have no idea, right? We're just looking at possibilities.
Does it? I mean, where's the other picture? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem as like as many colors, but it is darker.
I mean, it looks very similar to me. You got to remember, not all coyotes are the same. I mean, I can pull up another one. So,
did you look up Idaho coyotes?
yep.
Because they do vary state to state
Yep.
quite a bit.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of different colors. There's darker under hair. What's that called? Fur is under hair, right?
Yeah, they have like an undercoat
Mm-hmm.
for sure. That other coyote looked more like it. I don't know. It's really hard to tell what it could be.
It's weird. Look, I hope it's the stuffing. I absolutely hope it's the stuffing. However, I've had dogs my whole life that have ripped apart
they don't
beds and toys their whole life. I have never in my life, not one time, seen the inside of a bed, of a
toy
of anything that is that looks like this. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I don't get it.
I mean, I mean, just knowing that the animal brain, okay, is on the dumpster supposedly, and then that, like, yeah,
The
it just is kind of weird, okay? Like,
these are and those pictures, I saw someone asking that they thought it was like a
I'll be right
wolf or a
back.
fox or something like that. They're 100% coyotes, 100% coyotes. You can tell by the length of their what do you call it, snout or whatever, muzzle, whatever. Coyotes have a shorter snout than a wolf, but when you're looking at them head on, where you can't tell the length and shape of their skull, they can look kind of similar. It depends. The coloring can be very similar, but that picture just throws me for a loop, you guys. I just don't know what it is. I'm not trying to make an assumption. I'm not trying to make an assessment. But could it be coyote? And the only reason we're saying that is because we have evidence of animals being harmed in the area. It looks like hair to me. Like, I don't know if you guys can see this, if it's a good enough quality. I don't know if YouTube offers like the quality we see here, but this is hair. Like, hair. You can see the hair. Wait, there you go. This is hair right here. Hair, 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 hair. There's hairs. They aren't curled, they aren't jumbled up like you would expect to see in stuffing. This is hair. It's weird. I don't understand. I would love, I hope that someone can find interior stuffing and share it with us, so I gladly come on here and say, "Hey, look, you guys, I was so wrong. Let me show you how," you know? That's the motto of Thought Riot Podcast, right? We aren't on here trying to promise everything that comes out of our mouth is true. In fact, it's the obvious. It's the opposite. I hope that you take everything that comes out of my mouth as false and do verifying research. So, trust but verify. Trust but verify. And we appreciate you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hit that like button, and when this video is done, leave a comment under the video. You guys did incredible comments on the last video on that call to action, and we appreciate you for it. We've shared with some of you some of the issues we've been having with being targeted by people, and your comments and your likes help. So please keep doing it. You guys are incredible. Thank you very much. Huge, huge, huge thank you. And it has been making a difference. It absolutely has been making a difference. So thank you. Yeah, I have a hard time with this one. I just have a hard time with this one. I don't understand. Oh, and one other thing too. Remember, we said this yesterday. Because we have an open and active case right now with YouTube, pay attention to your subscription, pay attention to your membership. A few people have been removed, right? Because they're removing anybody that could have associations with anything related to what could be mistakenly taken as bot activity, as manipulating of metrics on YouTube. I know a couple people have, they've reached out, so just keep an eye out, you guys. So, but yeah, look, if we can find a bed, maybe there's some kind of special bed out there, right? Like a really high-end bed where your dog isn't sleeping on stuffing, your dog is sleeping on real fur. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with who knows what, to make this make sense. To play the contrarian. I think it's important to play the contrarian in any situation, because in my opinion, this looks like fur. This looks like fur. Wild, right? I don't even know what to say with it. I really don't. I'm not sure. I do know that I do know that um that whatever went on with the whole buddy situation, it's connected, in my opinion. And understand that's subjective, right? That's my personal opinion based off statistical evidence of serial enders and what they have done in their evolution into becoming the monsters they are. Um, it's very unlikely. Let me see. Let me look up what that percentage is again. I know it's a fraction of a percent. So, what percentage of people are
I just
serial?
want to know. I just want to know how the police ruled it out.
Okay, so
I don't think it's possible. Oh my gosh.
all right. What percentage of the population are serial killers? I'm going to verify this, right? 0.0000008. I actually believe this is right just because I remember the 8, but according to FBI behavioral criminal analysis, there are approximately 2,000 active serial enders in the US out of a population of 325 million. That puts a roughly estimated percentage at about 0.000006 of the population that are serial enders and not in prison, since this is for number of active. Another approach is to look at it from the perspective of diagnosed personality disorder. Roughly 4% of the population have sociopath traits. Only about 2% of those with sociopath traits are dangerously violent, and only about 1% of the dangerous are serial enders. 4% of 325 million equals 13 million sociopaths in the US. 2% of them are violently dangerous. That's not right. Are violently dangerous. Oh yeah, that is okay. Which is 260,000 potentials that are criminally dangerous in a physically violent way. 1% of the violent and dangerous are serial enders, bringing it to 2,600. If you assume about 600 of them are in prison at any given time, you end up with the FBI's 2,000 active estimate. So this is a good article. It breaks down, and you can verify by searching how many active serial enders there are, and it is 2,000 is what their estimate is. There's no way to know for sure, but if the 2,600 number is correct, including those active and those in prisons, that would mean the percent of the population that are serial enders is closer to 0.000008. If those numbers hold up worldwide, that would be roughly 62,400 serial enders out of 7,800,000,000 people on the planet. I would say that the number feels a little on the high side, but there are many unsolved murders around the world and millions of people who go missing and are never found again, any number of which could be from undocumented serial enders. Interesting. That's very interesting. So, going back to the likelihood of this being two people, I
Mhm.
0.0000008. Maybe I add an extra zero. I did. So it's 0.00008. 5 zeros and then an 8. Statistically, it's improbable. It's not likely. No, school. No, 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 no. Mass is very different. A mass ender is very different than a serial ender. A mass ender doesn't need to be a sociopath or a psychopath. It can be caused from trauma Whereas a serial ender, absolutely 100% of them are sociopaths or psychopaths. 100% of them. So it's interesting. It's interesting for sure.
You know, everywhere I look up dog stuffing, like the stuffing for dog beds, none of it is brown or anything like that. But then I find this one random Reddit post where the person's like, look, the inside of this toy has like this weird brown stuffing in it, and it almost looks like human or animal hair. And then somebody said in the comments, oh, yeah, just like that's just like my dog's bed that just got ripped up, and it had the same stuff in it, and it looks like real hair.
Dude, I've had endless amount of dog toys in beds.
It's either
I've
memory
never
foam
seen that.
or white stuffing is what I've always had.
Yeah,
So I'm really
well,
confused.
I've even bought really expensive beds that don't use hair like that. They use like sheep's wool, or what's that other one? Is it alpaca or something like that? The fur or whatever. But it's not like hair. It's not hair. That's different. It's strange. It's really strange, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's
Something
odd.
to it for sure.
I know some of you said in the comments that you had a dog bed or saw one that had dark brown stuffing like that. So I guess it's possible. It's totally possible, I
Yeah,
guess.
share it, you guys.
But
Definitely share that, right? So that we're not just saying, oh yeah, they are out there. I want to be able to give evidence they're out there. That would help out a lot, you
yeah,
guys. So if you could send a picture on our social media, that would be incredible. That would be awesome. Otherwise, we just have to assume there isn't one until we find one. But I'm sure, you know, it.
I can't figure out what it's made of though. So if you guys can figure out what it's made of, that would be really, really cool and interesting. It's just it was a weird coincidence to see the bed like that. It's wool, but I thought wool was like white.
Yeah, I don't think it is wool because they're straight hair.
Yeah, they look straight. They don't look
Yeah.
all curly like wool normally does, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's spread apart or something. You know what I mean? Like how
Yeah,
they shred it
I think
apart.
it's very possible, but
'Cause they make it into thread and stuff, and they do all that processing stuff to it. I can't remember what it's called. They, like, brush it out.
yeah. Yeah.
Could've been brushed out, but it's just I don't know. I mean, there are different color sheeps, of course, too.
Yeah.
It's just weird that it's all brown.
I agree. It's really strange. It's really strange, but we're gonna keep looking for it. That's why I'm asking you guys. I am not the end all be all say so of who and what fur is used or stuffing is used in animal toys, right? So is it possible that there is an animal bed out there that has it? Absolutely, 100% it's possible. So I just would love to be able to share it on the next show and, you know, be able to show people, hey, check it out. We've figured it out. We got it, right? We have proof that it could be that. Because it doesn't look like that, but you know, interesting for sure. It's definitely interesting. Um Okay. So,
I don't know, it just seems really expensive to stuff dog beds with wool.
yeah, I
That
mean,
seems really pricey.
look, and I don't what's this too?
I mean,
You
that's
know,
a
that
rip.
kind of
That
looks
looks like
like
a rip in the
stuffing.
bed.
Okay.
It looks like a rip in the bed.
Okay. Gosh, that's just so weird with the different colors and this right here. Like, what is this?
Yeah, I don't know.
That doesn't look like fur. That looks like leather, which is strange. And I don't think anyone. We'll post this picture in our Discord, you guys, and I'll post the Discord invite so you can see the quality. But this is hair. It is standing straight up here, and you can see it in the picture. There is straight hair
It's
here.
fibrous. It's like actual animal hair. Like you
Yeah.
can tell that it is.
Yeah, it's super strange. It doesn't make much sense. So here I am going to, for anybody watching, there's a lot of information out there right now around Discord, and Discord being like really bad or something. I don't know. A lot of people have said a lot of different things when
Like
it comes
it's a
to Discord.
drama mill and
And
you have to pay for it.
Discord is 100% free. Okay. There is nothing that you have to pay for on Discord. It is just a chat, and you can one-on-one chat with us. You can chat with other people. We dive into investigations. We look into things further. And it's a good time. It's a good time. We hopped on there on our last premiere of the podcast, and we were talking with a few different people hanging out in there, and it was a really good time on audio. So we just put that link in there and check it out. It is incredible. And oh, Mike coming through with 10 gifted memberships. That's awesome.
Yes, thank you so much. King of the chat.
Yes. King of the chat.
Here, I'm post the king of the chat emote.
Yeah, do that. That's awesome. Awesome. And for those of you hanging out with us in here, you got to make sure you have gift receiving on. You've got to have gift receiving on for you to, or allow gifts for you to be able to receive a membership. So congrats everybody. Congrats. Michael is awesome, and you've been a watcher for a long time. We appreciate you for that.
Yes, I hope you're doing well, Michael.
And
thank you so much. 20 people just got memberships.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You matched us.
And I don't know how many members does that put us at? I don't know, a few hundred.
Why are you being so weird?
But yeah, when it comes to this in the area, it's only a few miles between where the rabbit and Buddy was found, like you were saying earlier, and 1122.
Mm-hmm.
Only a few miles. And why I'm saying that is it walkable? Are there places out there where it's easy to park? I know at their house they have like giant open land right there, you guys. It's just fields and trees out there. So somebody could be walking out there doing who knows what, and meet this dog. And the sad thing is Buddy was a people person. If he saw people, he ran up to them.
He loved people. He wanted to meet everybody.
Yeah.
So he would run straight to them.
More than likely, he ran right up to him. And that person could have been out there, planning trouble. I don't know.
It's really sad.
It is sad.
Especially hearing the owners talk about it.
Aren't there new docs too?
I think so.
Yeah.
I just think it's something that was written off too quick. I think that we saw the police ruling out a lot of things really, really quickly, and it kind of makes me wonder why. And I don't really understand how they could have ruled out whoever did this to Buddy had something to do with this crime. Like, I don't see how they could rule it out.
Yeah.
Even if Bryan Kohberger's guilty, like, I think he should probably be looked at for Buddy's murder. Like, justice for Buddy.
Yeah,
and his family.
there's nothing new. It's just the 13th that we thought. Where was I going? I drank too much caffeine. I have to go to the bathroom again. It's messing me up. I don't know. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, I stepped on it.
The mic almost took a tumble. Scared me. Yeah, dude. I mean, well, here's the thing. It doesn't even seem like they like just stabbed a friendly little dog. They did something absolutely horrific to it. Ugh. Like they went above and beyond, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, Brennan's good. He just had to go pee. And then when he went to step off the stage area, he stepped on the cord for the mic and it started falling and tumbling and it scared me. So I was like, "Oh." But he caught it. And now he's just going pee. I think. I know a lot of people feel very, very, very strongly about Kohberger being innocent, and I understand why. I also understand the people who feel strongly that he's guilty, though. That's why I'm here in the middle, because I understand both sides. And I feel like the only correct place for me, like for how I think and how I am, is in the middle. That's the only way I feel okay with myself is maintaining that neutrality and acknowledging he's innocent until proven guilty. I did watch a really interesting I'm kind of shy. I shy away from calling it interesting. Because I don't know if I'd call it interesting. Documentary earlier today about the Idaho 4, kind of. It was more about JLR and about TikTokers, kind of like cyber sleuths, but by this Australian girl. And she came and visited Moscow in America and like followed JLR around while he made content and talked to Darren Duncan, which I thought was interesting. And how like the allegations, about Kopaka and him has affected him. And the lady that snuck into the press conferences in the original press conferences and claimed she was a reporter and worked for like a specific news company or paper or something. And it was a lie and the internet started attacking her and then she started claiming that she knew two of the victims.
Jeez.
Yeah, she talked to tons of different people that have been involved in this case.
That sounds very dramatic.
Yeah.
And like pulls you away from objectivity, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to check it out. So I got what I forgot.
Yeah, I'll say her name. Let me pull it up.
My bathroom trip, I needed to fix that, and now my head's back on straight. So
no hate to her or anything. Like I'm not saying it was bad or anything. I don't know. It's
animal situations have since stopped from our understanding.
Yes, we have no more reports showing any more things having to do with animals in the Moscow area. There haven't been any reports that anybody's come across since the crime.
Just think about that.
And it's been over a year.
Yeah, just think about that a minute. Think about it.
It's a big deal.
Think about that for a second while you hit that like button and make sure you leave a comment under the videos. Even if you're just saying hi, even if you're leaving an emote, just say hello. It helps out the show a ton. That interaction and engagement does so much, you guys. I can't even express how much it does. Like that is more than any monetary gain or anything, is hitting that like and leaving a comment under our videos. So we appreciate you ahead of time. But the animal
So I just linked
abuse has
that
stopped.
documentary in the chat, and it was from UK Documentary 6 is the name of the channel. Okay.
So that means that more than likely either A, the person understands the situation, right? And they're not doing it anymore because they don't want it. They don't want the light to get on them. They don't want to become the focus. B, it's Bryan Kohberger, and since he's locked up, it has stopped. Or C, it's somebody else that has since left.
Yeah.
That has since left.
Oh no, there's tons of partying going on in Moscow, Idaho still. Like nobody has stopped partying. Everybody's back to living life that the way that they were before the crime. Life goes on, and it definitely is in Moscow, Idaho too. So yeah, I think that it's really interesting after this crime that there's no more animal mutilations
Yep.
at all that
Yep.
we have heard of whatsoever. There was also a crackdown in policing, but also a lot of people left. Did the killer leave, or is he locked up?
Could the 2017 coyotes be a part of it? So the evolution would be moving there, joining college, bringing it up in a joking manner with the fraternity. Hey, let's prank all these other sororities and fraternities. I got a great idea. Let's go hunt these coyotes and then like wipe them all over the place. Could that have been step one? Step two, you get more personal with it and you start doing these things by hand. Step three, start doing it on actual pets that have emotional bonds and connections to humans. Step four, they're graduating and on their way out, and they want one final graduation gift. Let's do it to somebody, a human. Is that possible?
It's really interesting. So I we know that this is an ongoing issue. So we have the coyotes from 7 years ago, or not 7 years ago, 5,
No.
well,
Yeah.
7 now. It
Well-
is 7 years now. But 5 years before the crime, there were 7 coyotes throughout that year that showed up. Then we know of an instance that you said happened about 6 to 8 months before the Idaho 4 crime. And then we have the domesticated animals, the bunny and Buddy, the dog. And then the animal brain on the night of this crime, on the Idaho 4 murders, the animal brain on Sigma Chi's dumpster. The dog bed seems like it could possibly be irrelevant at this point because it could have been the stuffing.
That's not irrelevant. We don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure.
You got to be able to give all possibilities. I
Yeah.
think that it's important that our viewers make that decision on what you guys believe, and we're just here to share evidence. So I am not here to give you guys my opinion. I'm here to share the evidence that's needed to formulate an opinion.
So that's interesting. That's interesting. And now all of a sudden, since the crime, which I mean, yeah, since literally the crime, there have been no more. And it's
Yeah.
been over a year, and we have not seen a single report of anything to do with animals since then. And it was going on for 5 years, at least that we know of, pre-crime. It was going on all this time.
Yeah, it's weird.
5 years would actually kind of make sense with your theory. Like, I joined school and then was doing this stuff throughout, and then last hurrah type thing. Escalation to domesticated animals, not hunting prey that you're shooting, but to domestic animals and then up to humans. Like, yeah, that's the pattern of escalation we're talking about here that I've been looking for in this crime from the beginning, that we have no solid proof of in Bryan Kohberger. We haven't had any. Now, I would be curious to look up animal mutilations in the area he grew up in, but he wasn't in Moscow, Pullman area for 5 years. It couldn't have been him doing this to all the animals.
Not the animals and in connection with the crime. Correct. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wasn't there long enough.
It's strange. It is. It's strange.
So, I mean,
But at the same time, I also think that it's very easy to see how the original coyote situation is not connected to the buddy situation too, because I could see the original coyote situation just being somebody not thinking very clearly. You know?
I believe Anne is having issues with ads.
The ads are 20 minutes apart.
I should think she's had at least 4 that I've counted so far in the amount of time that we've been on.
Okay. They're supposed to be 20 minutes apart. They're automatic. And I pick them by time. So, I know some of our videos, the pre-records, the ads are much closer together, but on our lives, the only way that you're going to get more ads is if you're clicking off the video and clicking back on. But
A lot of people are having issues with it, I guess.
yeah, I gotcha. They're 20 minutes apart though, and they're set to the same as they've been set. Like there's no changes. Nothing's changed. I go in and manually input them every time, and they're set to 20 minutes. So yeah, premium is worth it, you guys. In my opinion, if I were you, I would get premium if you can.
It's just weird. Some people only get like a couple, some don't get any, and then others get bombarded with them. Like,
if you have premium, you won't get ads. If
it doesn't make sense to me.
Our settings are set up to where it's not random. There is a setting out there, you guys, that I can click that will make it random, where some people will get a bunch, some people will get a few. And that's to maximize the monetary payout. We are not set up on that. It doesn't matter how much money we make. Our show does not depend on money.
I'm just confused why it's doing that.
I don't know. Not sure. But we're working with YouTube directly right now, so I can ask the question and I can find out.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that it's frustrating. That sucks.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I don't know what makes it vary so much. I don't understand.
Yep. 20 minutes for an ad. Yep.
Well, between, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
You should only see it for 5 seconds and then be able to skip.
Yep.
Unless it's one of those ones that wants to make you
Some
watch
people
it.
literally watch all of them to support the show.
I know. I've heard of that.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting you need to do that.
No,
I'm just giving
no.
you guys transparent how we set it up. And they should not come random. They should be 20-minute intervals, but I can ask someone to do, a health analysis to see how many each person is getting. I'll ask them to look and check yours out. We finally got our stuff escalated to talking to a normal person, having a normal contact. I think there is something to it with the
yeah,
with the possible new stuff.
it looks like people are trying to give some suggestions in the chat if you're one of the people that are getting bombarded by them. So, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, can you select a length of time for the actual ad, not the space between the ads?
No.
No, we don't get to choose how long an ad is.
Nope.
There's
Nope.
no choice in that whatsoever.
What you can choose is if it's skippable or not, and I make all of our ads skippable.
I didn't know that.
Yep, I can make them not skippable. Yep. Interesting.
What?
Yep. Yeah, you won't get ads with premium. That's the benefit of premium.
Is that you will never
no
see an
ads.
ad again.
Yep. Your payment of premium is paying to not see ads. So, yeah. Interesting. Interesting. And with our show here, you know, unfortunately, well, I mean, it's not unfortunately. We're just going to give it straight to everyone. I know there's this idea out there in the true crime community like, look, money doesn't matter. We are absolutely here to be able to expand our show. That's why, you know, we've got supporters that put none of this stuff is cheap. None of it's cheap. And our goal is to continue growing and growing and growing and growing and be able to become a crime news source that is not owned by corporate America. So you know, we're gonna have ads. I will manage them the best I can. On the pre-recorded videos, you'll have an ad 5 to 10 minutes apart. On the lives, they will be 20 minutes apart. If something changes, I'll let you guys know. But if you that 20-minute period, if you go away from the video and come back, you're gonna get an ad. So that it's not like you can do 10 minutes, go away, come back, you get another 10 minutes. That timer will reset each time you go away.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this whole situation is strange. The whole thing. It's strange. Somebody said in chat, and this look, I haven't even verified this a little bit, you guys. They said, have you heard about being able to see like an outline of something in Showalter's under his sweatshirt in the food truck video?
No, I didn't notice that. Did you?
I've never heard that. I've never noticed that. I mean, I'll go back and look briefly to check it out. I'm always so skeptical with the Linda Lane footage and the food truck because understanding how no matter what is seen on there, it will never be a part of the case. Never. Those two footages are not going to be a part of the case ever. Ever, 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 ever. So they have absolutely nothing to do with Bryan Kohberger. They have absolutely nothing to do with the case that's in court. There's too many people, there's too many variables. It's too bad of footage. There is too much background noise. There is like too many variables, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. I do know that somebody said in the chat earlier that Drip Drop dug into Showalter a while back and thought that he was connected to, I guess, the more recent coyote killings, which when we were talking about the coyotes earlier, I was thinking about the ones from 2017 and I was like, there's no way. But that's more interesting looking into that, like, you know, and seeing because he was there 6 months before the crime. Um, and Bryan Kohberger wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what's been uncovered with that. I just knew that he couldn't be responsible for the ones in 2017.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But you know what's really more interesting that Drip Drop got me thinking today in his video today is that we really don't have proof of anything about Bryan Kohberger, like nothing. Even his drug addiction. There's
Yeah,
no proof.
yeah, yeah,
Like I don't have anything. I
yeah.
only have word of mouth.
I mean, there have been some leaks around some health records. I didn't when we looked into the potential of him using, right? And there's a couple situations that make me think he could have been a user, current user, maybe relapsed, that we've talked about on
Some of the
here.
pictures of him when he was younger look like it too.
Yeah, so
They look like it, but that's subjective, of course.
yeah, there were in his apartment. We've talked about this, you guys, and some people get mad about this, but look, we are not here to focus on Bryan Kohberger as a person. We're here to focus on the evidence. Bryan Kohberger just happens to be the suspect in this situation. In his apartment, it says in the search warrant that they found like either 3 or 4 blood droplets in random spots, okay? Based off my experience and history, there could be a million reasons for that, but I know one of the reasons can be injectables, dope. When you set the needle down after injecting dope, it usually leaves a little dot wherever it makes contact with the surface it's on, okay? Um, that doesn't mean that's what it is. I'm just giving a an option, right? That's out there. Now for current evidence, then when we look back, he absolutely is on something in 2 or 3 of those pictures. You can tell by pupil size. You can tell by the flushness of his face in certain areas. There are key identifiable markers that somebody is on dope, you guys. And he looks like he's on it to me. So, taking that stuff into account, understanding that health records have been suggested, paired with
The rehab thing, right?
paired with you know, the call to law enforcement, which I'm pretty sure you can get that evidence online. I don't have it with me right this second, obviously, but you can see that, you know, there was some kind of arrest documentation of the whole sister's phone thing. Just putting that all into perspective makes me feel like it's probable that he was an addict. However, we like to bring attention to these topics as much as possible, that there are tons of addicts. 1 in 4 people is an addict, you guys. An addict or an alcoholic. 1
And
in 4.
they're not all the kind of addicts either that will throw everything away and will become just a junkie on the streets. Like there are functioning addicts.
Oh yeah, there are. But
that will like
Yeah.
go to school and get a career and all those things. So it's hard to just stereotype and be like, oh, because he was going to college, that means he would never relapse or never used again or
Yeah,
didn't
absolutely.
switch drugs like to uppers or something.
Absolutely. And 1 in 4 people are an addict or an alcoholic, okay? And 1 in 4 people do not turn murderous.
Right, right.
So, in my opinion, that doesn't suggest anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing, you guys, to me. So I think there is some evidence of some of these things being true. But in my opinion, it doesn't change his innocence or guilt, you know?
No, even if he
Drip Drop's video was good though.
yeah, even if he were on drugs or something, it doesn't yeah. It doesn't change whether I feel like he's guilty or innocent.
Mhm.
But yeah, I still feel like we don't have confirmation of really anything. I feel like everything pretty much with Kohberger is hearsay,
Yeah. Yeah.
except for like a few pictures I've seen people unearth from his younger years, you know, friends that have come out and talked. But that's like, again, that's
His
hearsay from his
BFF,
friends.
who was a confirmed user, that girl.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of evidence backing that. But like, I understand the difference between concrete firsthand evidence, knowing yourself, and then what we're getting. Like, I understand that. I understand the point that Drip Drop's coming from. I get it 100%, and I support it. But you know, you can be objective without like finalizing that onto somebody, you know?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, if Drip Drop's watching this, man, shout out. You know,
Killed it today.
yeah, we talk on and off sometimes, just content related type stuff. And that video was literally amazing. Like the editing, phenomenal. It is incredible, you guys. The showmanship on that video with the editing. It's great. Um, but
It still cracks me up that Chris McDonough likes Strip Drop.
yeah, yeah. I think the
Yeah, Drip Drop's been in our chat a few times.
yeah,
He stops by here every once in a while.
every once in a while, Drip Drop comes and hangs out. So, yeah, he's good people. I'm not commenting on that drama either. I just won't. You know, this is not a declaration to back Drip Drop. We support Drip Drop without having anything to do with whatever drama is going on. We're just an anti-drama channel, you guys. We aren't going to comment on any drama ever, period. So we hope the best for him and want, you know, all the good things to come to him.
Yes, absolutely.
And to be honest, I don't even know all the drama, but I don't have time. All right, you guys. So almost every show, we switch over to a members only, okay? Members only, which is awesome. We have such a good time hanging out with the members in the members portion. Give me 1 second here. I can post that, which is awesome because we have some new members that just got gifted memberships today, which is incredible. And hang on here. Let me get this. So new people are going to be able to come in and hang out, which is great. Super great. That is the link.
So I also wanted to mention that Rolo Mata is in the chat, and he is also a content creator. He started making content, and I wanted to give him a shout out because he's always here, you know,
yeah,
hanging out and supporting
absolutely.
us. I haven't got to check out your content yet, Rolo, but I'm going to, and I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And anybody that is a content creator, I think Kane is making content too.
Yep. Kane B's the Purge. He is too.
You know what we need to do is make an emote for content creators so they can flag themselves like, hey, shout out to all the content creators in here, and they can use, you know, an emote to highlight themselves. But I was just posting our Twitter because our Twitter is so much different. It's Thought Riot Pod, unlike all the other / Thought Riot podcasts that we got going on out there. if you want to join the membership hangout, I just posted that as well. So if you would, you guys, hit that like button, and as soon as this video's over, leave a comment under the video. It does more for the show than I could ever explain to you. And oh, hey.
Oh, Trick Sonic, you just
We
look
got
for
quite a few
a young
people.
Mark Wahlberg. If you live in Canada and see a young Mark Wahlberg, then you know you've spotted Drip Drop.
Yeah, Drip Drop looks like Mark Wahlberg. That's right.
No, he's literally Mark Wahlberg. Like,
oh, that makes so much more sense. I didn't even think of
he's
that.
Mark Wahlberg from the past that's
Yeah.
come to the future to enlighten us all.
Yeah. Hey, don't name drop, you guys. Please, 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 please. We aren't taking sides. Absolutely not. We are not taking sides. So
We just stay out of drama, period.
Yep.
We
Yep.
are only talking about Drip Drop because he came out with a new video today and he said some interesting things in there. And it was a good video.
It was.
We're gonna support everybody. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. It has our support of that video has absolutely nothing to do with whatever drama is going on in the community, you guys. We support Drip Drop because he is intelligent. He is a great content creator. His editing is incredible. He's an artist, which if you're an artist, you know, being recognized as an artist is a massive deal. And what he does, I consider it really good. I consider it art expression. So, you know, I recognize him for that, is what I recognize him for. Which if someone said that to us, I mean, that is that's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and he supported us too. So.
yeah. He's came and hung out and in our chat and everything else for sure. So, but his art is the videos.
Oh
so,
yeah, it takes a lot of creativity and expression to do what he does on YouTube.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
It's definitely an art form.
It sure is. It's like a fingerprint, you know.
I would love to see if Drip Drop could actually like put out some art prints though. That would be cool. I would buy one.
Yeah.
Like if he was an artist like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, you guys, we got yes, it's Crime Circus. I'm sorry. If you guys were curious about like who we're talking about, it's Crime Circus. I don't think I said that, but thank you. Somebody said that. If you're on YouTube, you search Crime Circus. That's right.
And he has a second channel called Crime Circus Cult.
Yep. Absolutely. I consider myself an artist, and I think that everything is art. Writing, film, paint, drawing. You get to a certain point in life where you realize, like, if you have an expectation of what art is or is not, that is the opposite concept of everything that art is. Art is about no rules. Art is about nobody can say, oh yeah, this is art, but this isn't, you know. It lives outside of that. It is timeless. It is endless. It is a 100% personal, internal expression of who you are and how you're feeling.
I wanted to also say I'm before we hop off of here, which yes, I agree with you. I am trying to post more to TikTok recently, or not TikTok, gosh. Twitter, X. Trying to post to it more. So if you're on that platform, go check it out. It's at thoughtriotpod. Like I saw Chad Dorman's confession got thrown out today. And posted that. I did not think that was going to get thrown out. But
I
the
did.
officers, you know,
Remember when we
didn't give
talked
him a
about it?
lawyer. I don't remember.
Yeah, I said that I think they don't care if it gets thrown out because he admitted it on body cam earlier.
He's
So
admitted it numerous times,
Yeah.
not just there during the interrogation.
So
Yeah.
they
But still, why violate his rights? Like, as officers, you already know. You know that when someone asks for a lawyer, you are not allowed to just keep interrogating.
Yeah.
Like, come on. What's the point? Why not just give him his dang lawyer? It's like you have so much evidence. Like, you have him on body cam, essentially, like right there with the gun, with his sons right there in the yard.
I know. So yeah, get the confession
Do it the right
thrown out.
way. Yeah, but why didn't they do it the right way?
What do you mean?
Gave him his lawyer.
Probably because of how he was talking when they arrested it. He literally said that I'm going to talk to you and tell you everything. Like it is what it is. That's what you feel. That's what it looks like. That's what it seems while he's being arrested, as he's openly admitting that he was the one that caused this situation. And then they get into the police station, and I don't think it matters. I really don't,
Dude, you just do it the proper way. Like, you don't cut corners and not give people their lawyers or read them their Miranda rights.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, I understand
Not
those
everything's
cops.
a conspiracy, though, too.
It's not a conspiracy.
I don't think.
What are you talking about? Who said conspiracy?
Well, you're saying, like, come on, you got to do it the right way. They probably thought they were doing it the right way.
I'm sure that whole situation was very traumatizing, which could have led to them forgetting to do these things, because those officers have talked about how traumatizing that situation was.
Each other did it. If there's multiple officers involved, maybe one person thought Miranda was read while the other one thought the Miranda was read, and then they think the other is taking care of it. Like, that happens so often.
True, but with the lawyer, that's intentional. That's intentional.
I mean, that's some mega assumptions.
They ignored him asking for a lawyer.
I mean, we don't know that yet. We can't just assume.
It got thrown out. The judge ruled it.
Yeah, because his rights were not followed. Because it got thrown out, it does not mean that the cops fraudulently ignored him. Not fraudulent, but intentionally ignored him to not allow him to have a lawyer.
I don't know. I just think they need to be extra careful with this stuff. Get it done right the first time. Because what if they didn't have so much evidence against him? Because he's not getting out of this. I don't believe in a million years he could walk from this crime. He admitted to it multiple times, not just in the interrogation. And yeah, there's no way. But I'm just saying, like, be extra careful.
Yeah.
With the person's rights, so you can get it done right and make it stick, so this person doesn't have the argument that you violated their rights.
Listen, I take my hat off to those officers.
I do
think
too.
The officers did great when I was watching them approach him.
I do too.
You can see how scared they were. Like, his hand was literally shaking,
and it was awful.
Yeah, and it's an awful, horrible situation. So I personally am not going to come at this situation being hard on the police officers, because look, I don't want to be a hammer and everything looks like a nail. I support cops. I appreciate cops. I think their job is so hard. I wouldn't do their job. Okay. I would not. It is a very hard job to do that I think a certain person has to have a certain calling to do. I think they did phenomenal in this situation. Clearly, mistakes were made, and we hear all the time, there's no such thing as a perfect crime. There's no such thing as a perfect investigation. There's no such thing as a perfect case. A mistake was made here that got thrown out. That's not going to hinder his case at all, in my opinion. I don't think the cops went out of their way to intentionally abuse his rights, but
I agree with you. I don't think they were trying to,
mistakes
but
happen and we gotta be.
but again, with a case like this, if somebody even hints towards wanting a lawyer, I think you should just be extra careful because you don't want to end up in a situation where you get a confession thrown out.
Yeah.
Like, I just think be extra careful, get it done the right way the first time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing that bothers me. But yeah, I mean, I take my hats off to the officers involved too. Like, that whole situation is so hard. Like,
Yeah.
with the kids, like, all of them are super traumatized. And literally every officer and paramedic, first responder involved in that, like, has got to be super traumatized. So,
Oh, wow, that's crazy. I didn't even realize that we had like 60 viewers on Twitter. That's great. Twitter's
oh,
starting to pick up.
hi, Twitter
Yeah, I didn't.
or
So
X.
is there no like chatting on there?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm glad that people are actually
cool.
watching on there, though.
Yeah.
That's nice to know.
I know quite a few people do on Facebook. We have people that we saw in here and see quite often on Twitch, Instagram.
Yeah, nothing's as big as YouTube right now, but we're looking to you guys to
Yep.
make it bigger on the other platforms.
YouTube's engaging, so
YouTube is more of an engaging environment, I would say.
yep. But anyways, you guys, we are going to be switching over. Please hit that like button. Please leave a comment under this video. As soon as we hit end stream, you'll be able to leave a comment under the video. And we appreciate you ahead of time for that. Thought Riot Podcast, the true crime talk show, is all about you. It is the people's podcast. It is owned by you, and we represent the thoughts of the community, okay? And we offer evidence of those thoughts where we can. So, Thought Riot Podcast. My name's Brendan.
And I'm Malia. Have a great night.
And we're switching over to the members only, which is right. Hang on. Here. See ya. Let those thoughts riot.